everybody, this is the Marine.
And the Runner.
And we're here in central Wisconsin. We're at a Hammock Forum outing. It's called the Shack Hang. Say something.
He was looking at me like he wanted me. I wanted to tell you that, well, it's about 25 degrees out right now. The wind, we got a nice steady breeze at about 12 miles an hour, and we are standing directly in the center of the Ice Age Trail, which we believe runs about 12 to 1,500 miles across Wisconsin. I don't remember for sure, but it's a pretty long trail.
We're all settled in and we're getting ready to head up to the shack to see what other people are doing. Got a fire up on the hill there by the shack. Getting ready to eat dinner. A lot of people brought some food. Someone brought some spaghetti. Tasted the sauce. It was amazing. On our way up here, you guys, we stopped at Stephen Point and we got a submarine sandwich, and when I came out, my car wouldn't start. And when the battery was dead, luckily right next to us there was car auto parts, and we got a battery put in there and it still wouldn't start. I have one of those fob keys where you got to press the button, smart start they call it, and couldn't get it started. I was getting ready to call a tow truck, and lo and behold, I pressed the button and it started, and we got up here. It's beautiful up here. It's starting to snow right now, a little bit of flurries, and we're supposed to get about an inch of snow tonight. So we're gonna go up to the shack, we're gonna sit by the fire, and we're gonna have something to eat. Way down there is two deer. There's two deer out in the field. They're munching on the corn that's probably left from when they cut it not too long ago. Starting to snow, it's starting to get dark, and I'm gonna head up to the shack, get something to eat. And then we're going to sit by the fire and enjoy the fire tonight. And then tomorrow morning, Runner and I will probably hike on that Ice Age Trail. There's Runner building us a fire, the fireman.
Fireman.
You can get us a big fire tonight, Runner?
Yeah, big fire.
Big fire.
Morning, everyone. Man, I slept great. Probably got about 8 hours of sleep, maybe more, maybe 10 hours of sleep. I don't know what time it is. I'm just getting up. I would say the temperatures are in the mid-teens, probably 15, 14 degrees. The sun's out. It snowed last night, as you can see. Got up this morning to go to the bathroom about 3 o'clock in the morning. You can see that the snow was stopping, the moon was out, stars were out. Had a slight breeze come in also, so I can feel it, which was good because of the condensation. It got rid of the condensation, so I didn't have much condensation. Took this cover and draped it down. So I put this down, and the condensation was going on this top cover here instead of on my top quilt. Kind of acted like a frost bib, so that worked well. And look who's up. The early bird gets the worm.
Morning.
Did you go for a hike already?
I went for a walk. I don't know if you call it a hike, but kind of walked around a little bit.
How is it out there?
It's beautiful. Very nice. Seen deer tracks all over on the trail here.
Fresh tracks then, huh?
Yeah, fresh deer tracks.
Yeah, I heard something. I thought that was you this morning. I was wandering around.
Yeah.
I guess it was a deer. I'm gonna get up and boil some water and get some hot chocolate and get some oatmeal in me, and then head up to the shack to see who's in the shack, if they're gonna cook some bacon and eggs, which I'm hoping.
Diabetes beard on.
Here, pretty much.
Alright you guys, right now I'd be eating a frozen protein bar, a little bit of oatmeal and boiling water or melting water to get some water so I can have some oatmeal. But these guys, this is how they hang up here. Look at these guys.
Cheese and sausage and bacon.
We're roughing it again.
And bacon.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is really
bacon.
roughing it.
We're roughing it.
Yep.
I don't think I'm gonna be able to make it for the day.
It's bitter cold, 70 degrees.
It's what the wannabe coffee snobs do. Doesn't work well in the cold weather though.
It's amazing how these guys come up with these little gimmicks. Gourmet coffee. What are we gonna have for dessert now? Just got done eating breakfast up at the shack. I was telling those guys when Runner and I do a trip, I lose at least, I don't know, 5-10 pounds. This trip, I'm gonna gain 5 or 10 pounds. These people know how to eat. So yeah, we're gonna do a little hike, and Tumbleweed is gonna show us some special spots he have on his land, some springs, and give us a little tour. And then we're gonna lose some of that 5 pounds that I just put on, hopefully. We'll see. We got an interesting hammock setup here. We're gonna look at this hammock with a sock on it. And we got Mark here. He's gonna show us his rig.
What I have is a McIntyre canvas sock, a winter sock. I hung it in last night, and it's all canvas. It breathes, and the entire thing, I was snug, I was warm, I was dry, and I didn't have any snowstorms coming at me inside the hammock.
And it snowed yesterday.
Yes, it did, and the snow rushed right off. I did have a little bit of condensation on the outside, but nothing on the inside snowing down on me.
So it came right out, and
Came right out, and everything I looked dry and warm. My top quilt wasn't covered with any snow or anything like that, and it worked great.
wow, that's great. You open her up for us and show us what you got in there.
Inside, I have an incubator bottom quilt. I have a hammock here, top quilt, both 0 degree. And then inside, I made a wool blanket insert to go into it, and I was really, really nice and dry and warm and comfortable. I didn't want to get out of it this morning.
So it worked really well.
Yes, it did.
Now,
No tarp.
where did you get that sock at, if you don't mind me asking?
McIntyre. Molly Mac.
Molly Mac. Okay, yeah, that's on
Yeah, he's on Hammock Forums.
Hammock Forum, yes.
Yep. And it worked.
And you're nice and warm in that.
Yep, all night long.
And that's kind of cool, so you don't need a tarp if you have a sock like that.
No,
And,
not if you're under 20 degrees.
and I'm surprised that you didn't get any condensation inside.
No, not on me, no.
Yeah, that's great.
There was some on the canvas itself, but it didn't snow down on me.
Great. Well, thank you, Mark. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
All right, you guys, something that's new and up and coming are these hot tents. Hot tents for hammocks. And we got Franklin here, a trail named Swung, and he's going to show us what you just got this, what, a week ago?
Just Monday I got it, took it out of the box. So Mike at Smokehouse Outfitters makes these. He does them one at a time. He actually does a pretty good job on them. I'm pretty impressed. You have to build your own poles, which is kind of a bummer, but not a big deal. But the body of the tent itself is 70D ripstop, and it's got a waterproof and fire retardant coating on it. So it actually makes it, a little bit more robust than just regular ripstop. Each side has 4 poles, 4 tie-outs, and then it just has a ridge line like a regular hammock tarp would have. So pretty easy to set up. I did it myself in probably,
How long did it take you to set it up?
I don't know, more than 15 minutes.
Wow.
It goes pretty quick.
So once you get the hang of it, it's pretty easy. And then the stove went up pretty easy?
Yeah, the stove it's a modular, pipe, so it would be easier with 2 people, but it's not bad.
And what's
Come on
this?
inside, let's have
Yeah,
a
let's look at that stove.
No, the one neat thing that he does here with his zippers is where your hammock suspension, that's his black and white strap, goes through, he adds an extra zipper on the top and the bottom so that your suspension can move around, and then you still have at the bottom your entry zipper, so you can zip the whole thing wide open.
Wow, that's great.
Peel it back way and have a peek inside. You're only really going in and out on one side anyway. Come on in and I'll show you how I do this. Same strap that the trees are running to is the same that I have my hammock set up on. This hammock is an 11-foot Dream hammock, double layer with hammock gear insulation. If you watch some of the videos, I use a lot of the same stuff in all my other hammocks. This actually it's a good system, so I just kind of stuck with it. Everything fits into these two totes.
So you put everything in that tote.
Stove fits in there, hammock fits in there, quilts. Only thing that maybe wouldn't fit would be like food and water, but that's really not that big a deal.
What do you think the weight of that is? Everything, when you get everything in that tote.
I know the stove's 35 pounds. The body of the tent is 7 pounds 2 ounces without the poles. I'd probably say maybe 60 pounds total with the sleep system and everything. Really not bad.
That is so cool.
Yeah,
And let's look at that stove.
Yeah. I've had it just kind of
I can feel
all
the
day.
heat in here.
Well, there's still a little bit of fire going in there from this morning, but right now it's 75 degrees in here. So,
and it's 25 outside right now.
If that. Yeah, the stove is made by Winterwell. It's a stainless steel stove, so I don't have to worry about it rusting or oiling like a lot of other people have to worry with their Nikos or anything else, but it all folds up. The damper is built into the pipes, and then kind of a novelty thing, but it does have a glass window. It's kind of a nice touch to be able to sit and you can see the fire burn and, you know, not have to open it up to make your adjustments, I guess, but it's been a good system. Yeah, and I added this to the wall. This is just
to reflect the heat?
Yeah, reflectix. It'll radiate heat back and maybe help keep a little bit of the heat from the stove off the fabric.
Yeah.
But
that's a great idea.
everything is like seam taped, so you don't have to worry about leaks. Condensation really wasn't too big of an issue. I had a little bit this morning, but when you have such a big temperature differential between inside and outside, you're always going to have that.
Yes.
It's really not bad. And with the Winterwell kit, they give you like the gloves and the whole everything you're going to need to mess around with your stove. They give you the little poker for the firebox so you can get in there and adjust. And then they give you these too with the kit that I bought. It's a hot water tank that actually wraps around the stove flue and it fills from the top, and then you just have water on tap all the time, hot water. So
Wow.
I mean that's included in that weight. So if you get rid of this, there's a couple pounds you could shave right there if you really wanted
That
to.
is cool.
Yeah. So yeah, hardest part is probably making all your firewood all the time, because it does take a lot of wood to keep it running. But
Now that's a size you pretty much cut
yeah,
to put in there.
Yeah, Jim and I cut a lot of this earlier this year. Tried to keep it short so that it would fit in the stoves. It's easier to handle.
Now, how often do you have to feed that sucker?
Well, last night I fed it twice. That was it.
Really?
I stoked it up once before I went to bed, and then I woke up in the middle of the night, checked it again, stoked it again, and it was still embers in the morning. And then come morning time, all I did was throw a little bit of this dry, spindly stuff, came right back to life, and then I was able to cook my breakfast right on top of the stove. I can
And you
almost
ate
sit
breakfast in here.
right in here. It's 70 degrees, took my shirt off, kicked back.
You know, I got up this morning, I was looking for you, and I didn't see you for a long time. You were in here nice and
Snug as a bug.
snug as a bug.
Yep.
Wow.
And there is room if a guy really, wanted to. You could put cots out where the totes are on the other side where I was.
You guys, he's got a chair in here on this side. He's got his totes on that side. And what's the dimension, Franklin? What would you say?
The ridge line is 12 feet. The knee walls are 29 inches tall, and I believe they're 8.5 feet long, something like that. So the internal is going to be 12 by maybe 20 something.
Okay.
So it's adequate for cots and whatnot. It's one of the lightest weight hot tents that I found that I can actually make work for hammock camping too. So
Yeah, this is the first time I've seen something like this for a hammock that's designed for a hammock. You know, that someone's selling, that someone didn't
you
make.
can find them on the YouTube channels and whatnot and watch them. That's how I found out about Mike's kit. But I think it's going to be a popular thing. People are going to really get into
I really
this.
do. Yes. Now, do you mind how much was it?
The tent is $500.
Okay, that's
So,
not bad.
I mean, it's comparable to a top dollar maybe Cuban fiber.
Yes,
winter
absolutely.
tarp or something,
Yeah,
so.
absolutely. I paid. You got your
Yeah.
Winter Palace, what you paid, you know.
Yeah, Winter Palace is almost $500.
Yeah.
Might even be a little bit more now. In fact.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a pretty tall guy,
Yeah.
so I gotta stoop down a little bit. But you know, when you're in just doing your breakfast chores, or if you're sitting in the chair, it's comfy, it's warm, it does exactly what it's supposed to do. It's a hot tent, so.
Yeah. Now, how much was the stove?
I want to say, because I got the package kit, it was $280 maybe off Amazon.
Okay.
It's just, I mean, it's a cheap Chinese stove, but it holds fire. I mean, what does a stove really got to do? I did actually have to add this fire gasket to the door to make it burn a little bit more efficiently. Because the first couple times that I took it out in my teepee tent, the air would leak around the door and I could never damp the fire down enough. But now, you know, like I was saying, I can get it to go almost all night just by dialing down the pressure and keep the air out of it, and it'll just smolder all night long.
Wow.
Even if it's not making fire, there's enough coals where I can get it to come back to life pretty easily. So yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I'm loving it. I'm taking it back up to Minnesota this year for the frozen butt hang, so there'll be a lot of people up there with questions, I'm sure, but
Absolutely.
it's I think it's going to get to be popular.
I think so. I really do. Yep. You got me interested.
Well, I'm a gear guy, so it's going to be one of those deals where when I'm done with this, I'll be on to the next thing and see what that's going to be. I don't know if you can get much better than this.
Well, I thank you, Franklin. I appreciate that.
No
This is a great outfit you have right here.
Thank you.
It is great. Thank you, sir.
You bet.
This is actually
Now, what is that called, if you don't mind?
It's called a Molly Mac Pack, built by McIntyre.
Molly Mac Pack. Yeah, that's interesting. That's the first time I've ever seen something like that.
Me too.
It was really cool.
Yeah, he's had them out there for almost 10 years now, I think. It's not really caught on, I think, in a big way, in a sense that most people are looking for a traditional style backpack.
Yeah.
You know, big, container and then all the stuff built off the sides. Yep. And he went with the idea that to be more modular, it comes with a front panel that you can hang stuff off of.
Like a
This
ribs
back,
pack.
yeah, this back panel separates, so you have a belt panel and a back panel. And we can show that tomorrow when I get some of the stuff unloaded.
Yeah, I'd like to see
so
that.
it's very modular. It's the first time I put it on.
Yeah. Okay.
So I loaded
That's
it,
cool.
last night and just put it on to see, okay, it fits.
All right. How you guys that are new at hammocking, I really suggest and encourage you guys to join Hammock Forum and look for outings on Hammock Forum, and you find these guys like this. They look a little strange, but they're not that bad. These are great guys, and
We feel good, we look good, we smell good.
yeah, well, I don't know about that. But yeah, I asked questions on Hammock Forum, and these guys, they're really nice. They'll answer your questions, and so I really suggest that you join Hammock Forum and go on these outings. And next time, if you're in this Midwest area, I'd say come up to the shack, hang here, the shack hang. And these guys, man, these guys are gonna spoil you.